Ritsuo and welcome everybody to Let's Play for a Day, and today we got Trine Free, the Artifacts of Power. Well, if you've been following my channel, you probably know that I'm a huge Trine fanboy. I mean, I'll beat the first game, I made a second video about the second game, I basically drooled all over it, how good it is. And now we are here at Trine Free. Well, I kind of have this unspoken rule, or this rule of thumb, that things are good until the third part, like for example the Shrek movies or the Gothic games. And here I am, probably seeing my rule being confirmed once again, but I'll get ahead of myself. I guess we just jump right in, give you the little intro of the game, and talk about everything there is.
Our story began at the Astral Academy, the highest place of wizardly learning in all the kingdom. The academy housed magical secrets in its vaults, and the wizards had vowed to protect them from falling into the wrong hands. A fiercely persistent monster had set its mind upon penetrating the front gates.
Oh, how odd. The monster is immune to our magic.
With all these recent incidents around the Academy, I'm beginning to think we need outside assistance.
Let's send for help. What we need is our heroes.
And here is our hero, or one of our heroes. Also the map has to load apparently. So, welcome to Trine Free. This is basically the overworld, where you can start all the way, I think, around here. Yeah, like over there. So like, I'm going. There are the different levels. Like this is the three heroes Zoya. Those are the three introductory chapters. This is with Pontius. This is with Zoya. This is with Amadeus. Then there are like little side missions you can do with a singular character, and it's basically all around just level by level. You need like a certain amount of Trinelets you can collect in the levels, like that are mainly the reason to do these side levels. And you can see everything is unlocked yet. I've actually finished the game. Like this is the complete free map, but what I want to do is replay this level because it's basically where it's the Astral Academy where basically the intro took place in. And plus, it's probably the nicest, probably my favorite level, especially because it's a huge throwback to Trine 1. Because the Astral Academy is where the very first level took place in the first game. So let's just dive right in.
Amadeus, Pontius, and Zoya's retirement plans had gone horribly wrong. Instead of getting rid of their extraordinary powers, they had managed to destroy the artifact of soul. Our three heroes set off to repair what damage they had caused, or the damage that might yet be done. The heroes entered the Astral Academy with the intention of finding out where the sinister cloud of darkness was headed.
Ours was just one of three artifacts, right? There's the artifact of body and the artifact of mind, too.
Yes, and they're both stored in the Academy's vaults, and are far less lively than our artifact of soul.
So, welcome to Trine Free. I guess the first big thing you're gonna notice is that everything is like the free. Well, the free doesn't really imply that, but everything is in 3D. This is a three-dimensional game, which is basically a huge advancement in the game. After all, this is the game used to be 2.5D, and now it's in completely 3 dimensions. This is huge, basically, because it includes a lot of new gameplay features and a lot of gameplay stuff. For example, one of the new features is that Zoya can basically drag this stuff around. And other things, but at the same time this is also kind of a big problem for Trine Free because basically it limits the amount of puzzles you can do. Also this shit is janky as hell. Also this well, it serves the purpose, I suppose.
What are the
Works.
three artifacts, Amadeus?
I know as much as any wizard. They're 3 magical containers found in dwarven ruins years ago. And very few people have ever been able to tap into their power.
Who made the artifacts?
No one knows for sure. They thought it was the dwarves, but it's not likely, since they don't resemble anything else the dwarves made. I have a hunch we should go to the vault where the other 2 artifacts are stored. The Black Cloud might be headed there.
One thing you can of course note is that this game is pretty as always. And with the 3D they basically had even more like ways to design the game, which is... This is basically what I love the most about Trine, because it has a beautiful like fairy tale kind of look. Like you could see, like, for example, let me go down again. You can see like the magical bucket right here sweeping around, flying over there. It's a beautiful attention to detail I love a lot about this game, and it's still present in the first game, which I appreciate a lot. And I think they had like more opportunities to use their design capabilities in the third dimension, which is definitely something I welcome. I have to say, I mainly play Trine for the visuals. I'm not even going to like say anything else, because the Trine games were always known to have rather janky gameplay. For example, like you can see the combat is a fucking mess, and it always was, but in the third dimension it got even worse. But at the same time, you can also notice that it's actually really not very tactical, and also not particularly hard. Like I got hit so many times, and Pontius only lost a third of his health, and I still had 2 other characters installed in case he died. But things like these visuals, like this beautiful Aurora Borealis and other stuff, it's just basically this game is just more sightseeing the game. Like for example, the difficulty isn't punishing at all. Like for example, one of the biggest things also usually in the other Trine games, when one of your characters died, you have to pick him up at the next checkpoint. Here, if one of your characters dies, they, let's see, reappear somewhere as their spirit, usually really close by, and you can just pick them up again. Hooray! And now, they start out with like reduced health, but you can see the health auto regenerates, so there's no real point about it. So, I think I said everything nice there is to say about this game, so let's go into the negatives. If you've already seen like reviews of this game, you probably know that this game is kind of a black sheep. And yeah, it is. There definitely is. Like, the biggest thing is this. One of the bigger things, for example, this game has been stripped of so many features. Like, for example, let me see, it has that characters have less abilities. Like, for example, the wizard only can conjure now 1 box, and that's it. He has no planks anymore. He has no flying objects anymore. He can conjure 1 box, and see, and as soon as I conjure a 2nd box, it's gone. Period. Like Zoya doesn't have any splitter arrows anymore. She can only fire her 1 single arrow, which is absolutely boring, inane. And there's also no leveling up system anymore. That's it. Like, your characters stay throughout the whole game like they are. Pontius has his shield glide, he has a stomp ability, he has a charge ability, and that's it. That's what you have from the beginning of the game, and that will never ever happen. Plus, the game, like I said, is really easy. Like, there is one challenge in the game that is absolutely bullshit. It's because it's incredibly long and there are a couple of instant death enemies in it, and you're only playing as Pontius. It's basically like a survival arena. So that means if you die, you are screwed. Like, you just die, you have to redo the challenge. And the challenge is like 3 or even 4 waves of enemies, which some of them are boss enemies, which means they take several hits. And one thing you might also notice that might be a problem in this game with the 3rd dimension is perspective. And that plays hugely into this game, especially into that particular challenge, because it's really hard to spot like where exactly they are. Like, the shadows are actually really misleading. For example, when I take this box, you can see the shadow Okay, here it's actually... There are sometimes places where the shadow is actually misleading. Like, you can use Amadeus as in combat as a fighter, you can just crush people with the box. But it's sometimes really misleading because the shadow of the box, usually because the light comes from an angle, is actually very misleading. Also, it's also really hard to gauge where exactly the box is. I think I have like... I think there are some enemies... No, not coming up, not here. Also, story dump.
When the old king lay on his deathbed, he became
Yeah, probably just... I'm not going through all of this. I think I'm also going to talk over this dialogue because it's nice, but I want to get the point across through this game. Yeah, the perspective is sometimes a huge problem, especially with platforming, and sometimes it's also the problem you don't have to collect all of those Trinelets, but some of I actually got all of them, but you don't only need I would say 80% or so to finish the game. But since I'm a perfectionist, I was actually masochist enough to collect all of them. And some of them are actually hidden in a very dickish way. For example, behind this statue is one. Yeah, and I actually have to think of that. Some of them are actually kind of hidden because of the camera angle, etc. It's quite a pain in the ass, but especially precision platforming gets kind of annoying to do because of this perspective. I think this level in particular doesn't have that many annoying death traps, but it can be really frustrating, or especially there's some enemies that actually fly above the ground, and that's basically also what the gauntlet with the challenge gauntlet with Pontius makes it really annoying, because it's really hard to see where exactly they are. I guess maybe I could exit the level after a while and then show you one of those gauntlets and show you that gauntlet in particular, because it's absolute. It was absolute. I was so close to not finishing the game, to not perfecting the game, because I had enough to finish the game, but I was like, come on, I want to perfect it. But that challenge was so incredibly obnoxious that I was actually thinking about just saying fuck it. But yeah. Now one other thing you may have noticed is that this game challenge, puzzle-wise, the first two games had their fair share of puzzles, which weren't they weren't the most complex things. Usually it was a lot of tinkering, trying out things, but at least there were some sort of puzzles. In this game, there is barely anything resembling a puzzle. Because I'm not sure if it's just because it's really hard to design puzzles in 3D, but this game barely has any puzzles at all. Also, maybe you can show it off now with the shadow. It actually works fairly well. Oh, stop it. Yeah, but you can see there's barely a shadow visible. It's really hard to gauge where the box exactly is, which makes it a little bit annoying to do. So how to get... I think those things are instant death, actually. So I should... Oh. Just block them in like that. Oh. I knew it. I knew this would happen. Oh hey, they're completely still, but they still kill me if I jump into them. Just a little bit bullshit.
Is it
oh well.
actually a good idea to follow the black possessive
Okay,
smoke around the academy?
You're the wizard.
You go things. Well, yeah. But on the other hand, the most, which probably also got frozen by a lot of flack about the main problem of this game, is that it's I wouldn't even say it's not done. The game is kind of evil and misleading in the sense that it's incredibly short, and the problem is that it also just ends in the middle of the adventure. It's about the game starts with finding a MacGuffin, finding 3 MacGuffins, and the game actually ends when you find the first MacGuffin. So you would actually think, okay, basically it never tells you that the game is over after the first MacGuffin. You're like, oh hey, I found the first MacGuffin, let's go find the other 3 MacGuffins for the story. But no, you only realize, or you start to think that might be the case, because the map suddenly ends. But the game in total is only 4 or 5 hours long, which makes it even more painful.
That's
So-
the artifact of body.
It is
Seems to be in order here.
kind of disappointing. Like, it makes sense considering they have so much more, like, to do with modeling 3D levels, that it just falls really, really short. Like, there are only, like, in total 9 chapters, like 9 bigger levels. Also, cutscene time. I'll probably just be quiet.
The third artifact of power was in the last vault. Sinister energies swept inside it, and then it exploded.
I'm free! So good to meet you three properly at last. I am Sarek the Deathless. Thank you for helping me get out of these ridiculous prisons. 1,000 years I've been torn apart.
Wait, were you inside the artifact of soul all these years, helping us?
Merely a small part of me. You confused me with my jailer, whose torturous scream so pierced the air when her vessel of power was torn apart. But I must thank you three again for getting rid of her so efficiently.
We did no such thing.
You meddled with powers beyond your understanding. You wanted to be rid of her, break free, and you got your heart's desire. Nothing destroys a soul better than a good old-fashioned betrayal. Alas, I must dash off and look for a comfortable body to occupy. Well, have a lovely day. Until we meet again.
Go to the library. Find the Chronicles of the Guardian.
Our tiny piece of the artifact spoke. It's alive.
And wants us to go to the library?
Any other requests, Miss Artifact?
But the voice emanating from the shard said nothing more.
And yeah, like I said, the shortness is probably the biggest thing of the game. Funny enough, this actually got so much critique that Frozen Byte themselves actually issued an apology, which I find very admirable, to be honest. I wouldn't expect that the developer actually took their, or actually really made an apology video where they stand, I think, in the backyard of their studio and actually apologized for it. But one thing, one big thing I actually forgot to mention is actually the music in this game is still from Ari Polkinen, and it's as great as ever. So I think I'm just gonna give you a listen to the music for a moment. And people who still know the previous game, this and the track before was actually a throwback to the first Trine game. This is, I think, a remaster of the Academy Hallways, which I really, really love. Like I said, I think this is just really personal, but I just have a huge heart for like these fairy tale likes things. Like that's why I also really love the look of this game and everything. Because it's just so whimsical, so lovely. But you know what? Let's actually get out of this map and show me one of those gauntlets. Like the one gauntlet that almost made me rage. No, it's not that one. Oh yeah, Quest for the Cake. This game has actually a Portal reference in it. I am not even shitting. It's a quest for a cake, and somebody says the cake is a lie. Which is absolutely baffling considering how old this reference is. Let's see. No, is it that one? Or is it that one? Yeah, this one. This one.
Right. It's time you learned that honor and courage are mere words. But my powers are real.
This one makes me so annoying. This is probably the most obnoxious thing in the whole game. You can see those like you can play as Pontius only. And the problem is those enemies are flying. So you can not hit them unless... Ow. Also those big guys do a truckload of damage. So the only thing you can see like this kind of statue thing flying above me. This is the thing you have to do, is to use that statue thing in order to hit them. But you can also see where exactly are they standing. Like they also conjure these area of effect briars that constantly swarm up and hurt. So you can see it is really hard to gauge where exactly those guys are standing. Oh shit. Also that thump thing, if it hits you once, you're dead. Like if you accidentally like stay along for too long, this thing instantly kills you. Oh, there we go. I'm finally in an angle where I can hit it. You can see. Oh wait. Okay, it was enough. But hey, the second guy flies in, and I'm not shitting you. I think they respawn like there are like in total 9 of those guys, and it's horribly obnoxious. Or no, it's the same guy even. They just teleport, which makes it even worse. So I have to wait for this statue thing to get over here, so I can actually... Come on, buddy. To stomp down. Now hope that I'm in range to hit this guy, which I am, but it was not enough. He's still alive. He didn't even teleport, or didn't even fly away. So let's go up. Try to hit this guy. There we go. That is the first one I killed. And I think this is wave 1 out of 3 or even 4. I'm not exactly sure. Also, I think I can... No. Like, I think you can actually do more damage if you just stomp on them. But it's really hard, again, because of perspective. See? It's so obnoxiously hard. Okay. At least this gives you a little bit of, like... You can see that the statue basically just... Or the front thing kind of... swooped around it. Oh, like... Oh, I have him. A little bit at least. Now he flies away again. Like, I want to see at least until the second wave spawns. Because, like, I think there are 3 or even 4 waves. At least, I was exasperated at the end. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? No, I missed. Obviously. Of course I missed. And you can see how long this takes. This takes fucking ages. And it's not even particularly challenging. It's just really obnoxious. Okay, I have to dodge the AoE, otherwise I get hurt. I have to wait for this fucking statue to get over here so I can jump on it. Now I hope that it's like if at least those enemies would leave a shadow on the floor so I can see exactly where they are. But those things don't even leave a shadow. Like, so I have to guess where exactly they are. See, I missed again and again. Like, I have no idea why. Well, it is kind of a part of Pontius' story. Like, all of them have like a different story. Like, I think Amadeus has a nightmare. Zoya is looking for an artifact. And, let me see. And, yeah, Pontius has these gauntlets where he fights something. There we go. Let's see. Now wave 2 spawns. Oh. Did that thing just do me a favor? Oh, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? Does this thing actually kill the normal enemies? Did I just realize something? Why does this thing help me? Okay, that is new to me. I didn't think this thing actually actively attacks others, as long as I stand on it. That's actually kind of neat. That would have made everything a bit easier, I have to say, but oh well. Yeah, but still, I finished the game, and overall, yeah, but now it doesn't do anything anymore. But yeah, what can I say? Anything else? I have to say, like I said, in the end, the 3D is just kind of... it just doesn't add anything. Like, there is one level, I can maybe quickly dive into it. Which one is it? Is it this one? No, it's not. This one, I think. Yes.
An unusual
like, this one in particular, it just shows how useless the 3D is. Because this level, for example, is completely... Like,
contains
it is
the
completely
memoirs of a
two-dimensional,
great
but it has a third
magician
dimension in
long
it for no reason whatsoever. Like you can see, like I said, you can see it is just a, it never changes. It's gonna be a plane like this. It's beautiful, but like there's no reason to run here. You all only go left and right. So one thing I would appreciate, still it's gorgeous, of course. This is I have to say. I don't even want to go too far into the low because it has a lot of story dump in it. But yeah, like one thing that would have probably improved the game is basically do it like the newer Sonic games, where they have like distinct 3D and distinct 2D sections of the game. Like for example, in certain places, like for example this level, it has absolutely no reason to be in 3D because there's literally no reason to go forward or backwards, or barely any reason. But, well, as far as I heard, that Frozen Byte, if they continue with Trine 4, which I hopefully do, because I still have a story to finish, they want to go back to 2.5D like the previous games. Or maybe, like I said, I think the best thing is just to make like a compromise of having 3D sections and 2D sections, or 2.5D sections, and they just have to borrow them off smartly enough that people notice it. But yeah, overall, if you really like the Trine games, if you love the visuals, I think it's still worth like, I don't know, $5 or so. But for the full price, no. I think full price it's like 15 or 20 euros. No, it's never worth that much money, even though I am a huge Trine fanboy. But alright, I babbled on for way too long than I should. I basically played half of the game. But yeah, okay. In the end, I cautiously recommend it for a cheap price if you're really into our beautiful visuals and beautiful sound. If you don't care if the gameplay isn't completely satisfactory, and especially if you also don't mind the short length. Like I said, I think it takes like 3 hours to complete if you rush through. I perfected the game in like 4 or 5 hours. That means collecting all of the collectibles. But yeah, in the end, I cautiously recommend Trine 3. So, I was your host, I was Kaushmar, and au revoir.